This video goes out to all my girlies who are feeling ugly or unloved while on their respective campuses. I know it, bestie. You've been to a few parties, you've been to a few outings, hanging out with people, just existing as a person, and you know, maybe someone catches your eye, you think they're really cute, you really want to talk to them, your friends are hyping you up, they're like, yeah, go talk to them, go talk to them. You turn around and they're with someone who looks completely different from you, someone that makes you feel like you wouldn't have even had a chance. You feel like you're just not the girl of their dreams. You feel ugly and you feel unwanted, but you brush it off. You're like, okay, you know, it's just this one guy, it's just this one person, like, I can move on, I can find somebody else. And then the next party happens, and it happens again, and then the next, and then the next, and then the next, and you're left not even wanting to go out anymore, because what's the point if no one there will find you attractive? Or you've been, you know, a person in existence. You've liked plenty of people over the year, had your little crushes, found people really cute and adorable. And every time you've repaired yourself, you've braced yourself, you felt like you were ready for rejection, it still hurts you more and more each time you're let down. And you've begun to feel like you're ugly and that no one will ever like you. You begin to feel like you've done something wrong. There must be a reason why these people don't like you. What are you doing wrong? You start to change the way you act, the way you look, the way that you do things. You've become hyper conscious of every single action that you do and every thought that you have. You try to make sure that everything you could do, that you look good while doing it, even if it's as simple as just doing your chores or doing the things that you need to make your life continue moving on. You're unable to focus in class. All you can think about is if your posture looks right, if your body looks okay, if your stomach is tucked in whilst you're in class. You're starting to put away the things that really matter to you. You're not as conscious anymore when you hang out. You're not paying attention or present in the moment when you're in class or doing anything else, because you're always wondering, looking, checking, making sure that you look okay in this moment in case somebody looks at you. My dear, you've fallen under the trap of male validation. Your life has become nothing more than trying to constantly please the gaze of some man that you may not even be perceiving. But it's okay. You can stop caring about the views of men and you can improve your self-esteem, because trust me, being so hyper-conscious and being so wanting of male validation will do absolutely nothing for your self-esteem and your self-worth as a person. Being reliant on the views and thoughts of any person, putting aside men, will do horrible things for your self-esteem and your self-worth. So, you want to get over male validation? You want to feel better all the time and just put this era of your life behind you? Go ahead and watch the entirety of this video, because we'll be talking about it quite in depth. So, what is male validation? Male validation is really just any sort of approval from a man and the wanting of that approval. We often seek male validation to feel better about ourselves or to look better or be presented better than others around us. For example, in a classroom or a workforce setting, wanting male validation so that you are perceived as higher, as better, as the other people in that same setting as you, because you now have the thoughts and the feelings of the men there on your side. And really what this all sort of boils down to, it's this really venomous trap where you're losing your own self-esteem in pursuit of it from others. Because that's the whole thing. It's supposed to be self-esteem. It's supposed to be self-loving yourself, knowing that you are who you are and feeling good about that. But when that becomes reliant on someone else, it's no longer your self-esteem. You now care about what they think of you, and you're no longer in control of that. And a lot of this stems from the way that the patriarchy has been built. The thoughts, the views, the perspectives from men are thought of as more valuable than anybody else's, and because of the system that is built and that we still live in, it makes us very perceptible to fall into the trap of valuing these perspectives, these ideas more than our own and more than the people that actually care about us. But you should never let how someone else feels about you dictate how you feel about yourself. Besides it just not making any sense, seeing as they have no actual more importance than you when it comes to matters with yourself, it will lead to you having these really unrealistic and unattainable expectations for yourself, like feeling the need to be perfect every single day, every single minute or second, because of the idea that someone, a man, may be perceiving you, and if you don't look good in that moment, then like you've done something wrong, like he's not gonna find you attractive, yada yada yada, this and that. All these things that just don't do any good for you, and honestly are just wasting the precious moments we have in life. Because if you're spending every waking moment worrying about being perfect, then you're not really living, you're not really there or present whatsoever. The more time you spend paying attention to men, the less time you spend paying attention to yourself, which just reinforces the patriarchy's view of you need to be giving up your all to support and to lift up men. And I don't need to do a video for us all to understand how negative the patriarchy is, not only to people who present themselves as women, but also to people who present themselves as male identifying. Patriarchy is just a double-edged sword. No one is ever fully like unharmed from it. And that can be a whole discussion that many of other people have already done on the internet. In terms of no longer seeking male validation, you'll want to begin by first figuring out the root of the problem. Why is it that you're seeking male validation? What do you feel is lacking in your life? What are you wanting for? Where is the pain in you that is, or not forcing you, but that is leading you to seek this validation from men? What are you feeling insecure about? What about yourself do you not feel pretty? Like, what is it that is causing you to really search for this validation? Why are you not getting it from yourself? Then you've got to become okay with being disliked. There are so many people on this earth. You will never please every single one of them. There will always be someone who dislikes you, even if it's just for the sake of disliking you. And once you become familiar with that, once you become comfortable with that fact, and you just continue to exist proudly as the person you are already on the road to recovery. Because that is one of the fears that come with male validation, of not being liked by men, of being disliked by a man. And honestly, who cares? Like, honestly, who really cares? There's so many other things to be worried about in life. And more often than not, the man that you're seeking validation from really isn't shit. Like, he's not doing anything to be worthy of deciding how you feel about yourself. Like, he's just a man, an average, everyday man. And while I'm not saying there's something wrong with an average, everyday man, like, he's not even rich, girl. He's not even rich. He can't provide for you emotionally. He can't provide for you financially. He can't really support you in any way. He has his own issues to worry about. So why should he have any precedence in your life, and especially in the matters of how you perceive yourself? Next, you've got to stop degrading yourself. And I don't mean like the really explicit ways, like, oh, like you're looking in the mirror and you're calling yourself ugly. I mean the really subtle ways that I see people do this, insecure people do this in conversation, where they're like, oh yeah, it's not even that good anyway. It's like, oh, I'm not really good at this. Like, yeah, I don't really look good at things. Like, these little subtle comments you make in conversation, one, not only reveal the sort of insecurity you have about yourself, but talking down to yourself, it really increases your need and your want to be built up by somebody else. Like, that's part of the thing with the comment. You're like putting out this insecurity you have in hopes that someone will like be like, no, like that's not true, like you're beautiful, like you're so talented, you're so skilled, when really you should already know this. Like, you shouldn't be reaching for that validation in the conversation, and just sort of like exposing yourself like that, because then what if they agree? What if you're like, oh yeah, like I'm not really good at this, and they're like, yeah, you're not really good at this, like you need to get better, like why do you suck at this? Now you're doubly hurt because you were already insecure about this, and someone just reinforced the insecurity. Why not just work on the insecurity yourself? Why seek the validation that, no, this isn't true, from someone else when you know yourself the best? They do not know you to the level and the degree to which you know you. You know what you have to work on. You know your insecurities. And really, it just isn't smart even in everyday conversation to be giving up your insecurities to others, because people are venomous, they're vicious, they will use these against you, they will use these to hurt you. So even just in terms of the really cynical mindset, it is much better to present yourself as much stronger than you are, and to reserve those vulnerabilities, those insecurities for the people closest to you, the people who you know are very, very unlikely to backstab you and to utilize these against you. And that is a whole conversation on how you need to build your circle and be very careful who you include around you. Next, please, I know it is so hard to do, but we cannot be comparing ourselves to others in this day and age when so many people who look successful are actually really, really struggling. It is much better to set your own measurable and attainable goals in life and to really go for them and pursue those goals because you're passionate about them and you enjoy them, and not because you feel like you have to own up to somebody else, that you have to really validate people's expectations of you. You should only be validating yourself. Whenever you feel like you're doing something for someone else, especially if you don't even have a close relationship, like say you're being delusional over some random man, feeling that need to like, oh, he likes this outfit more, oh, I look better in this, I should wear this so that he... Girly, you should be dressing hot because you want to feel hot yourself, not because this man may be there and may see you while you're looking hot. You're not even like a thing, like he's not even courting you, y'all are not even in a relationship. Why does he already have a say, like an unknown say? He doesn't even know that he has this say in what you're gonna wear for that day, how you're going to look. Do we see how it does sound a little bit insane? How this man who is not even a core part of your life, you may be perceiving him as, but to him, you may not even exist, and he is already dictating how you present yourself to society. Okay, I just want to say, okay? So these are the things that you can do to start working on, you know, getting against male validation, finding more validation from yourself. Don't degrade yourself, you know, even in these really subtle ways, like in conversation, to stop comparing yourself to others and to really just seek your own attainable goals, to be okay with being disliked by others because you'll never be able to avoid it, and to find the root of why you're seeking this validation. And once you have that root, you can work on filling that void yourself. Is it because it makes you feel pretty, you feel ugly without it? Now you know you have to work on that, how you perceive yourself, how you see yourself, filling yourself with positivity and light. For example, making it a goal every time you see yourself. Wow, I look good, I look beautiful, look how my skin is glowing, look how my teeth are glowing, look how I feel, look how my skin's moisturized, I'm going outside, I'm hot, I'm pretty, I look good, and I don't need other people to tell me I look good. Like they could say I'm ugly and that's just their opinion because I'm just that girl. Like I'm good, I look good. And just continuously doing that over and over and over again. And then one day you'll look in the mirror and you go, damn, like I'm pretty, like I'm really pretty. And you'll just go about your life feeling so much better that you no longer need to receive that from somebody else. When you wake up in the morning and you look at yourself, you are filling in that I'm so pretty, that validation. You will never need it from anybody else. And anyone who tries to make it that you're reliant on them for that validation, you need to kick them out of your life. You need to. But I hope that this video was helpful for you in some regard. Go out there and slay, bestie. Never seek anything from a man that you can provide for yourself. And yeah.